What's up? Good morning, guys. What'd you think of that? Oh, there goes the rooster crowing. What'd you guys think of that? Saw that on TikTok and it made me just think of what's the next catalyst that some prediction, some YouTuber, some influencer out there is going to talk about. I know one of them being the collapse of the banks. So you can see that they are already talking that's the catalyst. But here's the thing, guys. I'm as OG, old school as you can get, man, when I got into this movement, man. Damn roosters. I was part of the crew that believed in one mission. You buy what you can, when you can, as much as you can without hurting your family, and then you held, right? The catalyst, though, man, I was a part of the group that kept pushing back against it and pushing back. Stop with these catalysts. Stop with these predictions. Stop. I mean, we had so many. If you guys have been around since 2021, we had so many different YouTubers, so many different guys come out with their next catalyst. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. I mean, they were endless. Here we are 2 years later. And we kept saying, me and several OG people that I knew kept saying, guys, stop this, because all you're doing is building up false hopes and false expectations, and it's a yo-yo effect.
Emotional, damn it.
Thing is they were all doing it because they were benefiting from it. Every time that catalyst came out, they benefited. Here's the thing about catalysts that they create. The moass and the squeeze is coming. It just gets some views. It just gets people to pay attention. Then it builds up hope with people, and then people get frustrated. People can only take so much of building up hope, thinking it's going to happen, especially with money, before they say fuck it and give up. The one real catalyst, let me ask you, if you go back to 2008, 2009, you go back to Michael Burry, and you look at his storyline. All right, hold on a second, guys. This is going to drive me nuts. You know what? Living on a farm is cool and all. I love it. But it's either the dogs barking, the rooster crowing, but most those guineas. I'm not a big guinea fan. There was about 5 or 6 of them that showed up from my neighbors and never will go away. That's what happens when you got 40 chickens running around. Get these damn things off. My reading glasses, I'm getting old. Anyway, all these catalysts, they talked about them because it pays them. Clickbait works. It's the only thing that works on YouTube. I'm going to put a clickbait title on this one, of course. But it's the only thing that works. But ultimately, guys, if you look back, if you know the history of everything that took place, GME was talked about for a long time on the Reddit subgroups. And as that grew, more and more people got involved. Those were some people that knew option trading, knew derivatives contracts, okay? And that's where Deep fucking Value made 30 some odd million or more. He knew what he was doing. So did many, many others that got into that all across that disappeared. And AMC back then, when they turned off the buy button, along with other meme stocks, ran up to $20-something from being down at $2. But more people started to pour into it. Let's be real, pour into AMC back then because they were hoping that AMC could do what GME just did and get up to almost $500 a share. Okay? And then as time progressed, everybody kept coming because word was getting out. And then what happened? Well, if you guys please go back and do your research and your due diligence, but there was a gamma ramp. There was a 12 or 13% of all derivatives and contracts being traded in the New York Stock Exchange. Adam even says it in the interview with Trey, was AMC stock. That created that massive gamma ramp, which then sucked in FOMO, and then we blew and we went all the way up to 70-something, 72 or whatever it was. I think somebody said we had an all-time high, 78 or whatever, but I just remember 72. That's how it worked. Because the masses, even Trey said back then, our power is in our numbers. That's what happened with GME, was the power in the numbers. As enough people poured in. Even the SEC's report, I know we don't want to believe them, but the report that was done with the whole GameStop, AMC, the whole 2021 fiasco, was due to retail pouring in. That's just the way it was. That was the catalyst. I'm sorry, I know we look at the OBV, but if we look at the longevity of folks, and day traders and what's been happening with this stock, I kept saying it, nobody wanted to hear it. The mass majority of people stopped buying. When we ran up to 72 and then we came back down and we stayed in the 50s and 60s and then we started floating around in the 40s and the 30s, honestly, how many people were truly buying it? I know some of you be like, I was buying. I get that. But I'm going to tell you, from January, February, March, April, May, and then even into June, everybody, and remember what money we were getting, okay? Think about that. How much money was pouring in and people were throwing it in left and right. left and right. But over time, nobody was posting their buys. I mean, it was all over Twitter and social media. Everybody was posting how many they were buying, how many shares, payday Friday. Like, people were stoked. But then over time, less and less and less and less and less on social media were people doing that. And that's just truth. So for me, I always believed it was simple. If we got the shorts, we need people. We need people like we had before. But everybody else's catalyst was, no, we got this coming, we got that coming, we got T+90 coming, we've got these fractals. If you remember that kid Astro or whatever his name was, that YouTuber, everybody had something. But the real story is how many people poured in and all those derivatives and those contracts and those call options and everything, remember? That's probably why Trey and Matt and them talked about it, because that's where the real pressure was at. And then that caused the brokers or whoever it was to have to go secure those stocks on long. And then as that price is being pulled up while they're shorting it down, there's probably some closing and or covering in there, but then you get the FOMO. But let's face it, retail. I mean, who in our minds, when we get a paycheck, is going to spend $60 on a share or $40 or even $30 on a couple shares, right? It was easy. That's why retail likes the penny stocks. Retail honestly likes those things under $10. And I tried to say it. If you look, we've had 20 some odd, 27 or 28 squeeze plays in the last 2 years, mimicking AMC and GME. Doing the same thing over again, recreating this new storyline. And every one of them is under $10. In fact, majority of them, if I recall, is under $5. And a lot of them is under $2. $2 was like the magic point. That's where AMC was at. A bunch of people jumped in when it hit 2. So that was like the magic launch pad. And you don't think that these hedge funds don't know that by now? They got screwed with GME. Let's face it. It screwed the shit out of them. That's why Melvin had to have a bailout and they end up going under, right? Well, it's just been a game ever since. And that's what I keep trying to point out. But I'm Mr. Hated because I point out Adam. And I point out Adam because Adam's not doing everything he's doing. And I know now, after listening to that 40-some-odd minute interview like 4 times now, I know he doesn't give a shit. Okay, I know the direction he's going. And that catalyst, that ain't gonna work either, man. I'm sorry. Y'all think that, oh, GME posted a surprise profit. Yeah, they ran up 50% briefly. They're gonna go back down. For us to get back healthy, think about this. For us to get back healthy, meaning get back up to some really significantly higher numbers that we had in AMC, we're gonna need like 1,000% run, not 50% run. Think about that. And where did you buy in? I know there's a lot of OGs that bought in under 10. I don't even know if they're still here. A lot of people I hear in comments, they're posting there in 15s, 20s, 25s, and 30s. There used to be a chart that came out on Webull that showed the average buy-in. For the longest time I saw it was in the 30s. So, guys, you got to get real. We need people. We've always needed people. Ultimately, we've always needed buy-in pressure. That was the catalyst. Holding, buy-in pressure. Where did the buy-in pressure go? Look at that. It's just, if you look at it, it's just day traders and algos with a handful of retail. I don't believe that retail's buying anywhere near like they were in 2021. So that's why I am who I am and what I'm doing. I'm not a financial advisor, just my opinions. But you know what? I kicked myself in the foot because there's times that I should have sold, but there's also, I kicked myself in the foot with this whole YouTube thing. I went the different route. I shouldn't have done that. I should have just been like the rest of the YouTubers. I mean, honestly, I should have just been making my money too. So, because I'm just utilizing my time, my channel, this space to share my feelings. Because I'm not a financial advisor. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. I just talk about how I feel and the history of what I saw. But I still hope, and I still believe in the thesis, the actual short thesis, not the fundamental base thesis. I believe in the fact that we had the shorts are criminal. They did a lot of excessive naked shorting, and we caught them for it. That's just the way I have felt. It's what I bought into. That hasn't changed. What has changed is I believe that Adam's about to make, just like I saw as I continue to research, and I'll show some more as I'm researching, these reverse splits, how it's happening. The shorts are shorting it. Then they reverse split, they reset it back, and they just keep doing it over and over and over again. It's just a game. And then that's what the CEOs of these companies have to do because they don't want to get delisted. They don't want to end up on the OTC, right? They don't want to end up with that. So they get pushed down and they have to reverse split back up. And guess what? All those people that are holding it, proof's in the pudding. It wipes them out. Go look. I'll be dropping the videos on it. That's my problem. Because to me, that's going to destroy everything I knew and all the catalysts. Well, the one catalyst, because if you look at Michael Burry, how many catalysts did he come up with? None. He bought it. He held it. He paid for it while he waited. He fought against his own people. That's all he did. He waited until it finally hit a breaking point. Remember? There was no 10 different, 20 different catalysts that's going to make it happen. He just had to wait for a breaking point. So I wish the best and I pray the best. And honestly, I hope that something happens before the reverse split. I hope that somehow or another, either the judge stops it or something happens so that it puts that pressure, something. We need that FOMO. We need that rocket launch. We need a bunch of derivative contracts. We need a bunch of FOMO. Anyway, damn it, 8 minutes plus the other 2 minutes. 10 minutes long. Good morning, guys. Have a good day.